morning, students. Today we are going to deal with Shakespearean sonnet, Let Me Not to the Marriage of True Minds. This is sonnet number 116, written by Shakespeare. This sonnet is a definition sonnet. It deals with the definition of true love. This is an English sonnet, and here we see that the sonnet is divided into three quatrains and one concluding couplet. So let me read the poem for you first. The poem is also on your screen. I am going to read it for you people. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when its alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on the tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth is unknown, although his height be taken. Love is not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle compass come. Love alters not with its brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the age of two. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never read nor no man ever loved. So, you see that this is a poem by Shakespeare. Let me take the first stanza of the poem. The first stanza is, let me not to the marriage of true minds. So, what does Shakespeare want to say over here? Shakespeare wants to give the significance of true love. He says that true love, it is not a physical love. It is a love which is associated of two minds. It is a marriage. It is a combination. It is a correlation of two minds. It is a combination of the association of the two minds where the person, they love each other, not following by or not guided by the earthly benefits. They are the true lovers of each other. And admit impediment. The second line says admit impediment. Admit means accept. Impediment means the barriers. He says that love which admits, which accepts any of the barriers, any of the obstacles, that love is not true love. That means the love which is a true love, it is a guide of itself. It guides the true lovers, and the obstacles which come in its way, it never admits them. It never accepts them. Then, love is not love which alters when its alteration fine. Says that, and that love will not come in the category of a true love if the love alters. Alters means changes. If the love changes according to the alteration find. Alteration find means according to the changes in the circumstances. That means when the circumstances of life change, if the love changes, then we can definitely conclude that love is not a true love if it is changing according to the change in the circumstances. So, in the first stanza, what does the poet wants to say? In the first stanza, we see that the poet wants to define true love, and he wants to say that true love is a marriage of true minds. It never accepts any impediments or the obstacle or the hindrances, and if love accepts those hindrances or obstacles, then we may say that it is not a true love. Now the second stanza, we are moving on to the second stanza, and the second stanza goes like this. Oh no, it is a never fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth is unknown, although his height be taken. So here, what does he say? Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark. Says that the love is an ever fixed mark. It is just like that lighthouse which shines in the midst of the sea. It is just like that lighthouse which faces all the tempests and is never shaken, and it never fumbles, it never shakes, it always shows the way to those who are misleading on the vast sea. It is the star to every wandering bark. And then the poet compares true love to the pole star. And he says that it is just like the pole star, as the pole star which shines constantly in the north direction. And in the ancient times, when scientific discoveries were not taken place, so much development of those scientific discoveries was not there at that time. Pole star used to be a guiding line for all those barks, for all those sailors, all those captains of the ships who used to sail on the sea. So at that time, whenever they used to think that their ship is drifting on the sea, at that time they used to find out their direction by having a view of the pole star. So what does the poet say here? The poet compares it to the pole star, and he says that true love is unshaken. It is constant, it never shakes its position, just like a pole star. And as the pole star guides to the drifted sailors, in the same way, the true love, it always guides those who are true lovers. So this is the second stanza, where first of all the poet compares the true love to a lighthouse which shines constantly in the midst of the sea. And in the second comparison, the poet takes up the analogy of a pole star, and he says that as the pole star shines constantly in the north direction and shows the way, shows the direction to the drifted ships, to the sailors, similarly true love also shows the way, guides the true lovers. Now the third quatrain of the poem, it goes like this. Love is not time's fool, the rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the age of doom. So what does the poet say here? The poet says, love is not time's fool. Now the poet compares love to time. In the Greek mythology, time has been represented as an old farmer with a sickle in his hand, and with that sickle the farmer cuts each and everything which comes in its way. So the poet says that true love is not subject to the decay of time. It never comes within the range of, within his sickle, within the range of his sickle. The rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle compass come. What does he say? He says rosy lips and cheeks. Rosy lips and cheeks means the physical beauty, the shining beauty, okay, the outward appearance, the rosy cheeks, okay. So these are all the signs and marks of physical beauty. He says that they come within the range of time. That means as the time passes, the physical beauty also decays slowly and gradually. So that is why those people who love each other for the physical beauty, at that time, that man who loves a lady for her physical beauty always finds that as the time passes, the physical beauty also decays slowly and gradually, and the love which was based on the physical beauty also dies. But according to Shakespeare, this true love, it is beyond the range of time. It never comes in the range of time, it never decays. Even every day, every minute, every hour, it increases. And so what does he say? Love is not time's fool. Love is not a fool of the time. It is not a subject to decay. And it is not a slave of time. Rosy lips and cheeks, they come within the range of the bending sickle of the time. But love is not a slave to the passage of time. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks. So love never changes according to the change in the time or change in the circumstances, but bears it out even to the age of doom. And once again, the poet says, once again, let me give you a reference to the Greek mythology. In the Greek mythology, it is being said that on the last day, when the gods, angels, they blow a clarion, and this is a clarion of the end of the earth. At that time, that day is called the doomsday. Okay, this is an indication, the sound of that clarion is an indication that the earth is going to an end. This is the last day of the earth. So what happens? Those people who love a person with the physical beauty of the person or the physical traits of the person, as the body is subject to the decay of time. So similarly, when the world comes to an end, all the physical souls, they also come to an end, and the physical body also comes to an end. And what happens? That even on that day, even on that last day, what happens? True love stands. So true love is immortal. It is not mortal. So in the third quatrain, what does the poet say? Poet makes a comparison of true love to the time. He says that all the physical beauty, all the physical traits, they are a subject of decay as the passage of time, but true love is not a subject of decay. It continues till the age of doom, and every day it increases its intensity, and this is true love which continues till the end of the day. And then we come to the concluding lines. So in the concluding lines, we see, what does the poet say? If this be error and upon me proved, I never rate nor no man ever loved. He says, if this be error, says the poet in these concluding lines. Remember, this is a Shakespearean sonnet. So in the Shakespearean sonnet, 14 lines are divided into 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. In the 3 quatrains, the poet develops the idea. So here we see that the poet is developing the idea of true love. He is defining true love in all the 3 stanzas, making various comparisons. The poet wishes to give a perfect definition of true love. In the concluding line, there is a turn of the thought, and whatever the poet has said earlier, the poet is now going to make, we may rather say that here the poet makes a challenge. And he says, if this be error and upon me proved, I never rate nor do man ever loved. He says that whatever I have said earlier regarding true love, that it is immortal, it never comes within the range of time, it is just like pole star, it is just like lighthouse, it never accepts any impediments in its way, it is a marriage of true minds, all those things. Says that whatever I have said, if anyone is there that is going to prove it to me that whatever I have said is wrong, the poet claims, the poet says, the poet challenges that if anyone is going to prove it to me that whatever I have said is wrong, I will gladly accept that I am not a poet, nor no man ever loved. He says that I am going to accept that I am not a poet, but at the same time, I will also accept this thing that in this world none has loved truly, because if a man loves truly, then he is bound to have all these characteristics in him or in her, as Shakespeare claims them to be found in the true love. So that is why the person, if any of the persons is coming to the poet and if they are proving it that this is not correct, he is going to accept it gladly that he is not a poet, nor no man has loved truly in this world. I hope you understand this poem. Thank you.